Hey guys and gals, and welcome to another video from the team here at Gotta Play It All, a division of BlenderTech.com. If you enjoy it or learn something from it, consider liking the video and consider subscribing for more video tips, tricks, tactics, mods, let's play, and indie games in general. Lastly, don't forget our motto, play your way. Today, in no specific order, I'll be showing you my top 5 favorite mods. Number 1 on the list is BRF by Arclight from SubSim Radio Room forums, also known as Better and Realistic Flotation mod. The most current version is version 1.3 as in 2010. There are 215 damage zones in the game on each boat, and it basically changes the values within these zones to affect the ship's flotation so that ships can be sunk by flooding rather than depleting HP, as well as increasing the flood rates. This mod was created because we all know too well in Vanilla SH5 that when you torpedo a ship, even if you hit it in the engine room, if it has 2 engines, which I think all boats do, it will keep on going happily forever on fire on its merry way, waving at you as if nothing had happened. With this mod enabled, depending where you hit the boat and depending on the weather will affect how quickly and if it sinks on its own. Although usually a boat will sink on its own as long as you hit it with a torpedo beneath the waterline, even in calm waters, as long as you follow it for a certain amount of time, which of course depends based on how good the hit was. In 2 flavors, BRF Full and Light. The light version just removes the increased flood rates, and so ships will flood much more slowly, and so they'll be able to go much further while still taking water on. So basically they'll just take water on at a slower rate with the light version enabled. There's also an HP balance add-on that you can enable on top of either, which makes flooding even more likely. However, to note, this HP balance add-on is incompatible with most mods, thus I don't have it enabled, but this is a small caveat. As always, remember I play with the voice recognition mod on at all times, which I'll get to in a later video as it's one of my favorite mods, so that's why I sometimes yell at my computer. Anyways, let's look at some footage of some ship takedowns to see the effects of this mod. Here's a prime example of the better realistic flotation mod. I hit this tanker, or no, this carrier, this merchant or whatever, at a fairly oblique angle, and you can see where it impacted in the hull, and normally that would just take his HP down to about half and maybe do a quarter damage in terms of his buoyancy. However, this took his buoyancy down quite far, and he still sat around. He's now counted as killed, but it basically disabled him and he started slowly flooding, and now he's slowly going to the ground. It's been about 5 minutes just watching him sit there and burn, and if we up the TC, he's slowly gonna sink. That's why I love this mod. I shot this warship up. It was the last one in a huge convoy. I'd been toying with them for probably an hour, trying to get a couple deck shots off without taking damage myself. And, you know, I had 4 torps miss. And so finally I got a torp head on right into his bow. He was still cruising around. You can see the damage there. Not that that means a lot, but the BRF mod means that he eventually sank due to flooding. And you can see he's sinking bow first because of that hit. So he's going down. And so the mod now just basically it takes into effect flooding. If you get a good hit that makes for good flooding, then he'll flood out eventually. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have effect with fire, but yeah, he's going down. I'll get the event camera here in a sec. I love his screws are still spinning, still making like 13 knots. See you later. That is the perfect just image. Yep, there he goes. Unit destroyed. I just love that image. It's beautiful. So yeah, his compartments are slowly sinking and filling with water. It was a slow sink. Like, it took quite a while, time compression and such. So yeah, that really increases the buoyancy realism in the game big time. You can see how he sunk that way because he had the hole on his bow, so his compartment slowly flooded it. Very cool. And he'll go down 500 meters and hit the bottom eventually. Very cool. Anyways, I just thought that was a cool hit. So I've played this scenario over many times. Basically, we have an oil tanker which I found on my way back to port. No matter what I did, I only have 1 torpedo left in my aft tube, as well as 3 or 4 deck rounds. So let's see if we can sink it with just that little bit. So I'm going to load my last torpedo. Now the draft on this is, I believe they have a fairly high draft, but I've been hitting them at about 2.6 meters. A little bit lower is usually better, but now these oil tankers, they do have 2 engines. So I have managed to hit them and had to follow them because they still have the 1 engine operational, but they are armed as well, so I can't just do a regular surface attack. So I'm just gonna get ahead of it so I can get in a firing line. We'll wait for him to come in a little closer so I can get a visual contact. There we go. Now we can get his course. It's pretty close. So he's gonna make roughly that course. I will give myself a little bit of room for error. I need to come back and to starboard. That looks like a good firing line. Alright, so we are facing backwards and approximately 550 meters from the attack line. I'll need about a 10-degree lead on him based on my knowledge of my torpedo upgrades. Periscope depth. Flood tube 5. Open tube 5. Flood tube 5. There he is, a nice great big tanker. And we'll need to shoot at 180 degrees. Like I said, about a 10-degree lead though, so if I shoot there, that's roughly where the torp is gonna hit. I'm not at a perfect 90 at all actually, so I'm gonna need less lead. Alright, here we go. I wasn't a dud, so we're all good. I should hit it either right in the middle of the ship or just aft, based on my rough guess. Yep, right in the middle. So as you can see, it took out a lot of his HP, but as you can see, his flooding level down to there. However, over time, if this was a good hit, he should flood out. So let's see. First of all, is he slowing down? He is. He's doing 8 knots right now. Let's find out what's going on. So both screws are still turning, so I didn't take out any engine parts. The oil is on fire though, which can lead to increased damage over time. And that was a decent hit, but not quite low, and it's very calm weather. So we'll just follow him for a while. He's not making any course changes except for some zigging and zagging. Nope, now he's on his own course. We'll get him right behind him so he doesn't see or hear me. You can see his flooding is going up, or well, he's getting flooded actually. Notice his flooding meter is down to half now. So it's potential that he's flooding out. Let's go check out the damage. So as you can see, he's spewing smoke out everywhere. The hole's taking on water, but there's no noticeable list. Rudder 1 degrees to port. Rudder 1 degrees to port. Well, before we catch up to him, he starts firing on my hull, which has been compromised. Let's see if he's listing, because I can't see a damage meter. It's definitely below the water line. Good now. He is listing slightly. I think if I followed him long enough, he'd probably sink out, so I'll do that just for the sake of this mod. Zigging and zagging again, I think. Oh, ship destroyed. I missed it. Or did I? See, he eventually flooded out. I just had to follow him for a while so that he didn't go out of the game's physics range. Yeah, sorry guys, I missed that, but you can see that he clearly sunk out. I took no additional shots, and he sunk out. And I even got to save my deck gun shells in case another ship came up. It's just beautiful the way they sink. I know it's beautiful in the vanilla game, but it's even better with the more realistic way the compartments flood and such. Like I said, there's 215 separate like compartments basically on a ship that can be damaged and flooded. So that is that. Got a nice oil slick on the surface. Thanks again for watching from the team here at Gotta Play It All, a division of BlenderTech.com. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it and consider subscribing for regular video updates. We will soon be on Twitter and Facebook. If you dislike this video for any reason, instead of just leaving with a thumbs down, please leave a comment or email us at info@blendertech.com as to what we can improve on so that we can continually improve our videos based on your community input. Remember as well, play your way.